All right, also this week, the Trump administration issuing a long-awaited report from the Make America Healthy Again Commission with HHS Secretary RFK Jr. at the helm. The MAHA report pointing to 4 key factors that it says are hurting American children: ultra-processed foods, environmental chemicals, digital behavior, and over-medicalization, concluding that large corporations are distorting the U.S. health system for the sake of profit. Now, while the report identified pesticides and other chemicals as potentially having harmful health impacts, it is stopping short of recommending any action to limit them. We are now joined by Dr. Anahita Dua. I really appreciate you being here, founder of Healthcare for Action, to talk more about this. While we have you, we just reported on Billy Joel's brain diagnosis. Very quickly, can we get your medical expertise here? How will this likely affect this very famous musician here, this icon? And with treatment, is there hope for a full and healthy life after diagnosis?
That's a great question, and absolutely there is. This particular diagnosis, as was mentioned by the other doctors, honestly, if you're going to have something going on with your brain, this is what you want. Because actually, it's not really a brain problem. What's happening is there's a buildup of fluid that's around the brain, and the normal fluid amount per day in the brain is about 600 cc's of fluid. And in this particular situation, just a little bit more fluid is being made, and it's pushing on that brain tissue. But with that shunt, which is basically a little tunnel that we create from inside your skull cavity down into your belly, we basically drain that extra fluid. And with time, the issues that come with this particular problem, which is a little bit of a wobbly gait, which is the walking, sometimes urinary incontinence, sometimes issues with cognition, that can completely resolve. It's not perfect for all patients, but I sincerely hope for him it'll be great. He just needs a good neurosurgeon and a good hug.
Yeah, the description of that surgery is absolutely fascinating. I appreciate that. Okay, let us get to the MAHA report. You say overall the report is a step in the right direction, but you say it has its issues. So what are those issues?
Absolutely. This is a step in the right direction. I've read the report. And that's the first step, of course. And, it starts out talking about, well, what's the point? What are we doing here? Well, what we're doing is they really want to understand the scope of the crisis that is absolutely affecting our children. We spend a lot of money on healthcare in this country, and we know that we have an epidemic in terms of pediatric obesity, for example. So, of course, something needs to be done about it. And quite honestly, this is not the first time this has come up in government. We all know Michelle Obama talked about this extensively over the course of her time in terms of healthy living and the way in which we can affect this issue with patients, for example, who are sedentary. But the problem is that really the idea is not something special. You can stop any mom at my kid's school and say, hey, what are the top 4 problems that are causing pediatric problems? And they will list off these 4 things. Wonderful. What are we going to do about it is really the question. And right now, what they've said in the first page of the report is that in 100 days from this report, we are going to bring recommendations to President Trump about what to do about these problems. And that's a little bit of a problem in and of itself, because these are big problems. Any one of these things, the poor diet, ultra-processed food, exposure to environmental chemicals, over-medicalization, are really true things, but they would all take years to figure out what's actually the way in which we stop it and what things can we do to prevent the unintended consequences that will, of course, come with making some of the big changes. For example, you mentioned the exposure to environmental chemicals. Well, we need to prove, first of all, what's the level of exposure that has an impact? How is that going to impact our farming industry? Is it really something we need to be focusing on, or is it just a performative thing? And after we figure out all that, how are we then going to impact our children so that they get what they need to eat? We don't want to be starving people, but at the same time, do it in a safe and healthy way. These are big problems.
Yeah, and it's interesting because what you're talking about is sort of a measurement and science taking time issue, but completely separate from that is the lobbying issue, is the fact that a lot of these issues really address some of the most powerful sectors in our entire economy. And that's a whole other can of worms when you go down that road. And that's very interesting as well. I want to bring up the vaccine report specifically deviates from a lot of mainstream science. So you pointed that out. What do you make of this?
Well, they do deviate from that, but actually I was pleased to see that some of the older rhetoric about autism and vaccines and issues like that were not brought up in this report. And that gives me a little bit of hope in that they can change the focus and they can really come back to the middle potentially and talk about what really is important. The way the report is written is it actually says that we need to decipher what aspects of vaccines may be problematic versus not problematic. And that gives me hope again, because even though there's a lot of science out there about the fact that vaccines are incredibly safe and frankly necessary, it's important that this particular cohort of people come to the middle and move away from the rhetoric that was so extreme and at least come to the center and say, all right, let's at least accept some of the vaccine data that's been out there for a really long time. And as we move forward, we can do things like placebo trials and whatnot, which frankly we've already done, but we can really have them focus down on the fact that we do have some of the data. So it gave me hope in the sense that I'm seeing the people on this commission move their own data points so that they're now fitting more with what we know is to be scientific fact. And I really like that about the report.
All right, Dr. Anahita Dua, really appreciate your time tonight. Thank you.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.